fighting for the values that make Nebraska the good life. This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Mickey D's Take Two. Number 2. We're going to talk about Mickey D's a little bit later on the show. Before we get to that, it's Talk and Text Tuesday. So if there's something on your mind, you can call or text in 402-479-1400. You can also comment on our social media feeds as well. Yesterday, we started out talking about Trump's, escapades at McDonald's, serving up French fries. We've got a clip montage that I was going to play yesterday that somehow I messed it up. So we're going to play it in a little bit later on the show, and we'll kind of dig into that. Plus, there was some other McDonald's news that you're probably going to want to know about because it's going to impact you here in Nebraska. It sounds like something to do with their quarter pounders. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Coming up on the show today, we're honored to have Senator Deb Fischer here. We have just, a couple of weeks left until Election Day. We had her on the show about a week ago or so, only for a short segment. And so we asked her to come back on whenever she had time. So we're going to be able to do that here in the next segment as well. And then coming up on Drive Time Nebraska for the rest of the week, tomorrow, we're going to do an end of the year financial checkup, do something a little bit different. The economy's, impacting people's lives. Let's go down some specific steps and say, all right, how can we handle and can we make sure that we have our financial house in order? So we'll do that tomorrow. And then on Friday, Rodney Smith Jr., he's from Raising Men and Women's Lawn Care Service. This is a international nonprofit organization. They have some people here, some kids here in Nebraska that are taking on their challenges. And what they do is they have youth, girls and boys, who are inspired to serve their community. They do free lawn care for disabled, single mothers and veterans, elderly, and they help them around their yard. And they have over 5,100 kids that are mowing across the country from the United States through 8 countries. Over 20,000 lawns mowed. They've been featured on ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN. Rodney was in Nebraska just a couple of days ago, and so he's going to check in with us on Friday, and we'll learn all about that nonprofit. All right, let's take a quick break here. When we come back, we'll be joined by Senator Deb Fischer, plus your chance to play Fantasy Huskers, as always, on Drive Time Nebraska. It's right around the corner. Thanks so much for listening. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
The best way to interact with KLIN shows is through the Hunt Irrigation Talk and Text line at 402-479-1400. Hunt Irrigation, the water smart company.
Kamala's inflation is damn near costing me everything. But Dan Osborne is siding with them, not us. Osborne supports amnesty for illegal aliens and wants to give our jobs away to foreign workers. He'll give them our Social Security, too. Dan Osborne, same old Democrat BS, just a different D.C. puppet.
I'm Deb Fischer. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Fisher Victory Fund.
Join Deb Fischer's team. Give today. FisherVictoryFund.com.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit GoCurrency.com and apply today.
You may have heard about Monolith, how right here in Nebraska, we're producing low-emission carbon black for tires across North America. How we'll soon be providing farmers with locally made fertilizer to reduce our reliance on foreign imports. How we're investing hundreds of millions in multiple Nebraska facilities. You might have heard Monolith is changing the world. We're not. You are. Along with many other Nebraskans in high-paying jobs that support families and communities. Monolith, Nebraska made.
Across Nebraska, voters will have the chance to end the current government abortion ban. The government shouldn't be making decisions for families' health care, but right now they are. Ending the ban takes 2 votes. A vote against 434, the first initiative, and then a vote for 439, the last initiative. It's only this combination that will finally get the government out of the personal medical decisions of Nebraska families. Voting against 434 and for 439 ensures that when there's a medical emergency, it's Nebraska families who decide what to do, not the government. This vote against 434 and for 439 makes it so our Nebraska doctors can treat every patient. The government put this ban in place, stripping Nebraska families of their freedom, but you can end it with 2 votes. The first against 434, and then vote for 439. Paid for by Protect Our Rights.
Help shape the future of Nebraska tech workforce. Join the Aksarben Foundation's Nebraska Tech Collaborative on October 24th at 1 p.m. for the $19.7 billion impact, how Nebraska's tech workforce is shaping tomorrow. This exclusive webinar will dive into critical insights from the Nebraska Tech Workforce Landscape Report and the newly updated NTC Data Dashboard, offering essential trends of workforce growth, wages, and demographics. Don't miss out. Register today at nebtechcollab.com. See you online October 24th.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Disagree with Doug? The guests? The topic? Call or text 402-479-1400 now to be a part of the show. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and seasonably mild this evening, with the temperature dropping into the upper 50s by midnight. After midnight, partly to mostly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles, low in the upper 40s. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles early, then mostly sunny in the afternoon, cooler with a high in the upper 60s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
On the downhill side of our drive time traffic continues to run slow on Nebraska Parkway from South 14th to 27th Street eastbound. Do expect a slower commute in that area. Also, Normal Boulevard from Calvert to South Street running slow, and the intersection of South Street from Normal to 40th, that is closed for paving work, which does make that area run slow. If you come across anything that slows you down, call the traffic hotline 402-479-1414. Keeping you moving with Time Saver Traffic. I'm Chris Lofgren.
Now back to more Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, we are 14 days away from Election Day, and Lancaster County Election Commissioner Todd Wilchin just said that they've received over 31,000 who have voted either in office or returned their ballot early. I did mine today, by the way, and there was a line all the way out the building. We also have seen campaigns heating up, certainly across the state as well, including today's guest race. Senator Deb Fischer is joining us. Senator, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Doug. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. How are you doing? You're in that
Well.
You're in the last stretch here.
We are. 2 weeks from today is Election Day. So everybody's out and busy and talking to Nebraskans and our supporters and, just trying to make sure everybody gets out to vote. It sounds like early voting is going well.
Yeah, it does sound really good. Speaking of support, you're running a tight race with Dan Osborne, and as not to get him confused with any relation to Coach Tom Osborne, Coach Osborne's come out and endorsed you. How important is that endorsement for you?
Oh, I was just really, really honored for him to endorse me. And then he did a radio ad for me, and he said he wanted to write that ad. And so, when the coach says he wants to do something, you let him do it. So he wrote that ad. It is such a good ad, and I am so grateful to have his support and in his own words to express that.
Yeah, it was effective. It's very effective when you hear Coach talking, especially on the commercials there. So, well, Dan Osborne describes his policies as malleable and plastic. And I personally, as I was reading those, I'm like interpreting them as really easily influenced. That's my interpretation. How important is compromising government while carrying out really principled leadership?
Well, you have to want to have principled leaders in positions. You want to have people who have core values and who you can depend upon to have those values, that they aren't going to change, that they're not going to sway whichever way the wind blows, that they don't say they're malleable, for heaven's sakes. That is not a quality that we want to have in elected officials. We want to know that the people that we elect are honest with us. We want to know that they do have these core values. And of course, compromise is necessary. You have to develop relationships with your colleagues when you're in elected office. I did that on the school board, did it in the Nebraska legislature. I do it every day in the United States Senate. It's how we get things done in the Senate. It's how you get bills passed. But that doesn't mean you compromise your core values. It means you look for ways that you can agree on a solution to a problem that still recognizes the diversity we have across this country and between states in this country. So when I heard that he gave that interview and made those comments, I was really shocked. I was really shocked that he doesn't seem to have that core that you need to know who you are, and so your folks here in Nebraska know who you are too. And that's been, my complaints about him, that he seems to say one thing to his donors and then another when he's with a group, and then another when he's talking to another group. That's not who we need.
Well, speaking of saying one thing and then another, obviously the abortion ballot initiatives are hot topics right now. And it's confusing for a lot of people here in Nebraska, as they've got two of those ballot initiatives on the November 5th ballot. Dan Osborne says that he would consider a vote to codify Roe v. Wade. And I think he's also said before that maybe he wouldn't do that. So where do you stand on this?
Well, I am pro-life, and that's when I was talking about core values and having Nebraskans know who you are. Nebraskans know I'm pro-life. I have supported exceptions for the life of the mother, for rape, and for incest. But that is a core value that I have. And you can't say you're pro-life and then say you're going to go back and codify Roe. That's not how it works.
It's confusing. It's getting confusing if people start following this and really pay attention. Speaking of confusing, let's talk about Israel, because you talk about providing, having a problem, providing solutions. You're working in the Senate. You are part of the Armed Services Committee. Things are really heated up in Israel. I saw that there's some more action going on today. And yesterday on the monthly Governor's Call-In show, I talked with the governor about the importance of supporting Israel. Dan Osborne says that he would consider halting offensive weapons to Israel. Now, you've served again on the Armed Services Committee in the Senate. Is that a dangerous policy as we consider how volatile that Middle East area is?
It's a dangerous policy, but it is in line with what the Biden administration has done in the past when it comes to Israel. They have been slow in providing the weapons that Israel has requested, and it seems like Dan Osborne is in line with the Biden administration on that. That's a dangerous position, that you would, as he said, take away the offensive weapons from Israel. He's basically saying to the terrorists, don't worry about it. We're going to take away their weapons. And Hamas, Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis down in Yemen, and when you look at Iran, that is a dangerous, that is a deadly message that he would be sending to terrorists, that when they say they hate Israel and down with Israel, the next thing they say is they hate America and down with America. These are our enemies too, and we need to remember that. Israel is protecting their people and their country. And comments like Dan Osborne's put them in more danger, and also put this country in more danger from terrorists.
So he's one of the things on his ads that he talks about is that you said, or he says you said, that you wouldn't run again. And could you clarify that for me and for our listeners? Because I guess I don't understand that and where he's coming from.
Yeah, sure. When I served in the legislature, we we had term limits in the legislature, and they applied to everybody. And so when I was asked about the Senate, I said 2 terms. But when you get to the Senate, you realize how important seniority is. And, you mentioned my service on the Armed Services Committee in the Senate. I'm second in seniority in that position. That is a big deal for Nebraska. That's a big deal for Nebraska to be in that position. It's also important on the other committees I have. I have more committees than any other senator that are important to the state. Armed Services, Appropriations, Ag Committee, Commerce Committee. That helps the state of Nebraska. And it didn't take me long to realize when I got to the Senate how important that is.
Well, I agree with you. And the governor had talked about yesterday in regards to Offutt Air Force Base being right here, one of the most powerful, useful bases for security of our entire world. And then you being here as, like you said, with your experience in the Senate only helps that in supporting it as we move forward, especially our world's dangerous right now. I mean, we have threats coming from a lot of different countries, and we better be prepared for that. And that's leadership being prepared, like yourself, being in the right positions at the right time.
That's true. And I believe that. And the governor's been very open in his support for me to run again, because he understands how the Senate works and the benefits that come to Nebraska. To be able to help with Offutt, to help STRATCOM. We have missile fields in the panhandle of Nebraska, or ICBMs, and we're working on modernizing those through a new program called Sentinel program. That benefits the state. The university certainly realizes it when it comes to research grants that the university is receiving. When it comes to the new ARS, the building that's going to be happening on Innovation Campus. I was able to bring $25 million last year to get that started, and this year another $16 million. That's a huge facility that's going to be built there to do research in precision agriculture and innovation on Innovation Campus. So I'm fortunate to have the support of university folks who understand that, and just all the communities. Lincoln, for example, the Lincoln South Beltway, the levees that we were able to get done that protect the drinking water for Lincoln and Omaha, being able to get the VA clinic in Lincoln, the VA clinic in Omaha, to serve our veterans in those communities. People realize when you have somebody who's effective, who's working hard, who's listening to Nebraskans and doing their job, that's an important position to have for Nebraska to have in the United States Senate.
Well, as we close things out for this segment, what's something over the last few years that you have worked on, you've accomplished, that you're really, really proud of?
Oh, I've been fortunate to work with Nebraskans and work with my colleagues on a number of issues, but something I'm really proud of would be paid family leave. In 2017, we were able to get a paid family leave program into the tax reform bill that passed. It's in as a pilot program right now. It's targeted for smaller businesses and for hourly workers, for people who don't have these corporate jobs or who don't work for the university and they don't have the access to paid family leave. And it's a tax credit, so it adheres to conservative principles. It's a tax credit so that employers are able to offer these benefits, and then an hourly worker can take their parent to the doctor or go pick up a sick kid at school or just have a little time off there without being docked their pay. That's something that's going to be expiring, the pilot program. So Angus King and I, he's an independent from Maine, we work together on a lot of strategic forces, nuclear modernization things on Armed Services Committee, and he is also my partner on our paid family leave. We want to be able to extend that program. We want to make it permanent. We want to make it available for more and more families across this country because we both realize how important that is. So that, for both of us, I believe is our number one project, our number one bill on the agenda in January, is to make that paid family pilot program that is in statute right now, federal law. We want to make it permanent, and we're gonna work hard to get that done.
Well, Senator Fischer, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to having you back on the show again.
Great. Sounds good. Thanks,
All right,
Doug.
You bet. Well, let's take a quick break here. When we return, we're going to hear from Governor Jim Pillen and get his take on the Middle East and how it can potentially impact our lives right here in Nebraska. Plus, your chance to play Fantasy Huskers is coming up next, right around the corner. Be listening for that keyword and get ready to text it in. Cities from across the state, they're listening to Drive Time Nebraska.
Living in Nebraska means severe weather is always in season. Your severe weather action team is based on 1499.3 KLIN.
Your privacy is their priority at Lincoln Coin and Bullion. Secure your appointment to buy or sell silver and gold with Nebraska's largest coin, currency, and bullion dealer today.
This is State Senator Carolyn Bosin. Public safety is important in our community. I have a proven record of protecting public safety. I have prosecuted perpetrators of domestic violence, advocated for the rights of child abuse victims, held sexual predators accountable, and fought to keep drug traffickers off our streets. This is Senator Carolyn Bosin, and I will continue to fight to keep our community safe. Vote Carolyn Bosin on November 5th. Paid for by Bosin for Legislature.
At Pemberley Place Senior Living here in Lincoln, our experts help you enjoy life every step of the way. Pemberley Place offers a continuum of care campus for independent living, assisted living, and memory care. Surround yourself with activity, good friends, great food, and a new outlook on life. Plus all the personalized and attentive care you deserve. For apartment availability, visit PemberleyPlace.com. That's PemberleyPlace.com, an MJ Senior Living community.
Kamala's inflation is damn near costing me everything. But Dan Osborne is siding with them, not us. Osborne supports amnesty for illegal aliens and wants to give our jobs away to foreign workers. He'll give them our Social Security, too. Dan Osborne, same old Democrat BS, just a different D.C. puppet.
I'm Deb Fischer. I'm running for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Fisher Victory Fund.
Join Deb Fischer's team. Give today. FisherVictoryFund.com.
Discover the difference with Oak Electric, a local woman-owned business offering premium electrical service at competitive prices. With over 25 years of experience, their master electrician is one of Lincoln's top experts. Their small, dedicated team focuses on quality control and safety for your family or business. Experience the premium customer service you deserve. When life happens, call Oak Electric at 402-440-5969 because they always answer the phone. Oak Electric, where quality and safety come first.
This is Independent Dan Osborne, candidate for U.S. Senate in Nebraska, and I approve this message. My dad is my hero, a Republican county commissioner and veteran, an old-school Nebraska conservative like me. My dad taught me my values, that hard work and your word are sacred, that it's a sin to waste another man's dollar. Politicians like Deb Fischer don't understand that. Deb's done nothing on the border, failed to pass a farm bill. Deb's gotten 10 times richer in Washington, while she oversaw the national debt double. Deb has lied to us. Even local Republican parties called Deb out for lying. Now she's lying about me. I'm a veteran. My word is my bond. Trust me with your vote, and I'll fight like hell to secure the border, protect Social Security for every American citizen, cut your taxes, and take on corruption. I know what it's like to put in 8 hours work for 8 hours pay, and I will never waste your tax dollars or betray your trust. Paid for by Osborne for Senate.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and seasonably mild this evening with the temperature dropping into the upper 50s by midnight. After midnight, partly to mostly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles, low in the upper 40s. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles early, then mostly sunny in the afternoon, cooler with a high in the upper 60s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
KLIN Time Saver Traffic, delivered by Paisanos, Lincoln's best brick oven pizza.
Wrapping up our traffic reports, no accidents or major delays. We do have a couple of slow spots to keep in mind. Normal Boulevard from Sumner to South Street, southbound running slow. South Street from 40th to Normal, that is closed for paving work. That intersection does run slow. Also, Nebraska Parkway from South 14th to 27th Street eastbound, running slow at this time. Driving needs your full attention. Don't be a distracted driver. Buckle up and put the phone down. Keeping you moving with Time Saver Traffic, I'm Chris Lofgren.
Raising the roof on the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans, with the occasional net violation. You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, you are just in time to play Fantasy Huskers today. Chance to win some great prizes, $50 to Valentino's. How about Best of Big Red, $50? Put your name in the hat for that. All you have to do is text in this word, DAY, D-A-Y. Text in the word DAY to 402-479-1400 for your chance to win. And, we'll see who the winner is here in about 10 minutes or so. Wyatt will have the computer pick that winner, which is kind of cool. All right, we have some breaking news that we'd like to get to and share with you right now. And I'm just going to read it off the KLIN.com website. Chase Porter just posted this. The Lincoln Police Department has an update regarding the search for 31-year-old Jerica Hamry of Lincoln, who was reported missing by her family back in July, on July 3rd. And based on the information gathered during the investigation, LPD investigators, the Nebraska State Patrol, and the Nebraska Game and Parks Commission, along with several canine units, they're searching a property right now in Overton, Nebraska, and they wanted us to get the word out. Work began on Monday, October 21st, and is continuing through yesterday. Evidence suggests that Jerica could have been in the vicinity of Arapahoe, Holdridge, Overton, and Lexington, Nebraska, along with the surrounding rural areas. So we'll keep you up to date on that as that story progresses. If you have any information regarding that, please call the Lincoln Police Department, 402-441-6000, and they'll be able to help you out. All right. Well, yesterday, had the honor of guest hosting the Nebraska Broadcasters Association monthly Governor's Call-In show with Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen. And there was a caller who had a comment for the governor regarding Israel. And since Senator Fischer had mentioned that, and we had talked about, protecting the world and what's going on over in the Middle East, I thought the governor's answer was definitely one that we all need to hear. Let's go to line number one. DJ's from Lincoln talking about Israel. DJ, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. So I kind of had more of a statement or even a compliment for you, Governor Pillen. So I'm a student at UNL, and, kind of with recent events in the Middle East and everything, I'm seeing a lot of, Palestine this, Palestine that, flags waving around. And, it sickens me because I think about the stuff that I saw and heard on October 7th, but I got to say that your support for Israel has been astounding. And I thank you for, giving younger people like me, especially, a chance to feel like that they're heard about their concerns. And it's not just Palestine, but it's the young people that support Israel as well. So thank you.
Well, thank you, DJ. I think that what's really, really important is war, and war has never been good since the beginning of mankind. And what's all the more extraordinary today, when I was a kid, I saw pictures for 10 minutes when Walter Cronkite at the night would say, and that's the way it was, and there were 35 more young Americans killed. Today, you can be seeing the terrible things going on almost real time, and it's so live and so haunting. And all of a sudden, some people are starting to pick sides. Well, for crying out loud, it's biblical. Israel, since the beginning of time, they're our ally. We are brothers and sisters. There's no changing, for crying out loud. And the Hamas and the Palestinians invaded and killed people. And that's what they've been trying to do since the beginning of time. It's unacceptable. And there's no other options. And war, it'd be great that the hostages could be released. It'd be great that the war could end. But these have been challenges that have been going on for centuries. And what's gone on since October 7th, in my view, is sickening and intolerable. I'm all for freedom of speech, but as I made it crystal clear, there weren't going to be any tents pitched in the state of Nebraska on state property. Everybody can have their voices heard, but what went on the East Coast, in my view, was totally unacceptable. Not anything that stands for what the United States of America is.
DJ, thanks for your call. I appreciate that. Let me just ask this in regards to that, because a lot of the protests, happened around the country, and we saw a lot of disruption on the campuses around the country as well. And then obviously we have illegal immigration happening. Is there concern for us here in Nebraska in regards to just kind of an uprising of this? I mean, how is that? I mean, how do you deal with that?
Well, I think that, number one, we have tremendous sheriffs, city police, and Nebraska State Patrol. We have 4,000 members of the Air and Army National Guard. So we have tremendous people who are committed to keeping us safe. The highest calling of government is keep us safe. Mm-hmm. Keep us safe. And so I think that what's really important with all that is going on, to say that there's been a number of terrorists, bad people that have crossed the border. To think that none of them have made it here in Nebraska would be pretty foolish. Mm-hmm. So we have a very, very sophisticated mechanisms in place using technology to find bad people, and they get tracked down. So, but the hardcore reality is that if any of us, we live in the greatest place, but it's not going to stay that way unless we make sure we're aware and we have our eyes open. And if somebody's moving into neighborhoods, into our communities, we need to engage. We need to treat them with love and respect and make sure we know who they are, because if somebody gets into our communities that doesn't make sense, chances are it doesn't, and we need to make sure we're alerting authorities, because I don't know what the number has been of how many millions of people have made it in. All I know is the releases that I've got, and the number of terrorists and really violent criminals that have made it across in the last 3.5 to almost 4 years is a number that, if everybody saw the numbers I've seen and have been to where I've been able to be, that you'd get concerned. It's important that we all work together and take care of our neighborhoods and our communities.
And I'm sure Senator Deb Fischer has been helping that too, being on the Armed Services Committee and understanding a lot of what's happening, which is vital, especially for our state, the country, but our state.
Gigantic. Senator Fischer, a lifetime public servant of Nebraska. She's the senior statesperson, and she holds lots of key positions. Her work's invaluable for our future. Same Offutt Air Force Base. How many of us really understand? Does everybody in Nebraska understand Offutt Air Force Base is the most powerful strategic Air Force base in the world? General Cotton, a 4-star general, he's halfway through his term. He is dealing with global nuclear deterrence every day. He talks to the Secretary of Defense, talks to the President of the United States on what's going on with very dangerous matters all over the world. That's happening in Bellevue, Nebraska. Mm-hmm. And of course, the 55th Wing with Colonel Howard. We are flying reconnaissance flights all over the world every day from Offutt Air Force Base. And so the point simply being, the state of Nebraska, we have an incredible impacts on the safety of our planet, and making sure that we will continue to have it to be the greatest place in the world. But we all
Yep. That's Governor Jim Pillen, and the next Governor's Call-In show will be November 25th. You can hear it right here on KLIN. All right, still Talking Text Tuesday. If there's something on your mind, we got comments coming in. You can call or text them in at 402-479-1400. We're going to take a break here, and then we're going to talk about some McDonald's, some stuff going on with Trump and other things with McDonald's around the country as well. And we're still playing Fantasy Huskers. Text in the word day to 402-479-1400 before we pick our winner. Thanks so much for listening on your drive home. We'll be back after this.
Your voice, your station.
Help the ones at home first, you know?
The conversations that matter to you.
Our infrastructure is crumbling.
1499.3 KLIN, the voice of Lincoln.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. Sports Nightly is next on 1499.3 KLIN.
The following bulletin is paid for by Retired Americans PAC. Dateline Omaha. Election Day 2024. Nebraskans head to the polls. Hundreds of thousands of them rely on the Social Security and Medicare they earned. Do they know Senator Deb Fischer voted to raise the Social Security retirement age, cut benefits, and slash Medicare? That she voted against capping insulin costs at $35? Nebraska's seniors are asking, who will fight for our financial security and the benefits we paid for? Dan Osborne, veteran, works for a living, independent candidate for U.S. Senate. Unlike Deb Fischer, he's not funded by the drug lobby and big corporations. On November 5th, it's your turn to vote to protect Social Security and Medicare. Vote Dan Osborne. Retired Americans PAC paid and is responsible for the content of this advertising. RetiredAmericansPAC.org. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Beautiful vistas, babbling waterfalls, the gentle breeze blowing as you relax, taking in the peaceful surroundings. Toss in some award-winning Nebraska wine, and what do you have? James Arthur Vineyards. Tucked into the rolling hills just minutes north of Lincoln, James Arthur Vineyards provides a perfect spot to get away, whether it's for a romantic afternoon or to check out one of JV's great events like live music, winemaker dinners, or perhaps a murder mystery. James Arthur Vineyards. It's more than wine, it's an experience.
Does your business need quick, competitive financing for heavy machinery, trucks, or other equipment? Currency is here to help. Whether you're financing construction equipment, farm equipment, trucks, trailers, or any other big-ticket item, Currency will automatically find the best rates. Currency facilitates loans for up to $500,000 with repayment terms up to 72 months. It's fast, easy, and free to use. Visit gocurrency.com and apply today.
Every child deserves a mentor. Teammates Mentoring of Lincoln believes in the power of one-on-one relationships to build hope. Be the support you needed when you were young. Give a student the gift of time, friendship, and trust. Be there to simply listen, encourage, and focus on their strengths. Commit to spending 1 hour per week with a student who needs you. Make a difference in a child's life and become a mentor with Teammates. Together, we can create a stronger community. Visit LincolnTeammates.org to learn more.
As our voice on the University of Nebraska Board of Regents, Republican Rob Schaefer is getting the job done. Schaefer is working to keep tuition affordable, hold the line on spending, and ensure the university better reflects our conservative values. That's why the Nebraska Farm Bureau and U.S. Senators Deb Fischer and Pete Ricketts have endorsed Rob Schaefer. For experienced leadership and conservative common sense, vote Republican Rob Schaefer for Regent.
Paid for by Rob Schaefer for Board of Regents.
You're listening to Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald. More of the show coming up on 1499.3 KLIN. KLIN weather brought to you by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electrical.
Mainly clear and seasonably mild this evening with the temperature dropping into the upper 50s by midnight. After midnight, partly to mostly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles, low in the upper 40s. Wednesday, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of sprinkles early, then mostly sunny in the afternoon, cooler with a high in the upper 60s. From the 1011 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Brandon Rector.
Training threes on the issues that truly matter to Nebraskans, with the occasional technical or two. This is Drive Time Nebraska with Doug Fitzgerald on 1499.3 KLIN.
All right, Charlie, you are our winner. Thanks for texting in and playing Fantasy Huskers. Who doesn't want to play Fantasy Huskers? Your chance now to win those prizes from Valentino's and Best of Big Red. You have to answer this question. Which AP Top 25 team will score the most points? No, Wyatt.
Doug.
Did I mess it up again?
You've done this again, I swear.
It's Tuesday. It's the McDonald's talking. What is it? It's which?
I got to pull it up here. Let's see. How many pass attempts for Nebraska against Ohio State? There you go, Charlie.
That's what I meant. That's exactly what I meant. How many pass attempts? So anyway, Charlie, congratulations. See, if Wyatt wasn't here, I would be in trouble. Hey, your next chance to win tomorrow morning. Jack will have that chance for you on LNK Today with Jack and Friends. And then obviously tomorrow we'll do it all over again. One more time. All right, coming up on Drive Time Nebraska tomorrow, we're going to dig a little deeper into your finances. I'm going to do something a little bit different. One of the things that I do is coach people across the country in regards to their finances. I've been helping people with their personal finances for a long time. And tomorrow we're going to do an end-of-the-year financial checkup. We're going to see how you're doing and give you some ideas and thoughts of how you can take care of your finances, especially during this time when it's kind of hard for a lot of people in regards to their income. And then on Friday, Rodney Smith Jr., I'm excited about this. He just texted me back some information, but he started a nonprofit called Raising Men and Women Lawn Care Service. It's a nonprofit that helps the elderly. It helps the veterans, those people who can't get out and actually take care of their lawn through the service of boys and girls around the country in 8 countries around the world. And they've been doing this for quite a while now. Over 20,000 yards have been mowed. Actually, Rodney was in Nebraska just to recognize one of those young men, I think a couple of days ago. So he's going to join us on Friday. He's been featured on ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, and CNN. So it'll be fun to hear his story and find out exactly what they're doing. All right. Well, James messaged in on social media, 14 days to the election. Yes. And Harris took 2 days off. And she keeps saying that Trump is getting tired. I agree. Yeah. Yes, I agree. And talk about McDonald's. We're going to talk about McDonald's as we wrap up the show today. And we're going to keep it in the political realm here with the presidential race. Trump and McDonald's take 2. All right. Before, all this happened yesterday, Trump was out there serving French fries and serving out of the drive-thru at McDonald's. I believe it was in Pennsylvania. And the reason why he did that is because Kamala Harris had claimed that she had worked at McDonald's, and she worked really hard at McDonald's for a year or 2 or 3, and found out it wasn't true. McDonald's verified that she did not work there. So Trump, being Trump, took advantage of the moment, right? Of course. I mean, he's an entertainer. So he took advantage of the opportunity, spent the afternoon yesterday working at McDonald's, cooking up for some French fries, putting on that apron, serving people through the drive-thru. Yesterday, I played a clip that I thought was this clip I'm going to play next, which I think is pretty funny. I played a short clip yesterday, but I want to play this clip, and we'll see what Wyatt thinks after we're done.
Got about 10,000 people out there. That's a big crowd, huh? I love McDonald's. I love jobs. I like to see good jobs. And I think it's inappropriate when somebody puts down all over the place that she worked at McDonald's. It was a big part of her resume that she worked at McDonald's, how tough a job it was. She specifically worked at the French fry, where they make the French fries. And she talked about the heat. It was so tough. She never worked at McDonald's. McDonald's just confirmed that again, by the way. She never worked at McDonald's. In other words, she's lying, Kamala. I'm going to definitely have French fries for the plane. Have you seen the people over there? That is thousands of people. Now I have worked at McDonald's. I've now worked for 15 minutes more than Kamala. Okay, she never worked here. I've now worked 15 minutes more than Kamala, so it's good. Worked at McDonald's. I'm going to say, because she's lying, Kamala. That's why. Why would she lie? She shouldn't lie about it. McDonald's confirmed 4 times now she never worked here. Well, this is a great job to take at the beginning, and it requires expertise. I'm going through the French fry stuff. It's a whole big process, and it requires great expertise actually to do it right and to do it fast. Yeah. Well, I do appreciate it. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah. You take it for granted. You say, "Give me French fries. I'll never forget this experience." Okay. Now I know how to do it, and it's very good. But you know what? It's beautiful. It's clean. It's really nice. You never touch them. I always figured somebody stuffs them in with their hand, and I don't like that. And they don't do it that way. You never touch them. It's really great.
You never touch the fries. So, why would you touch the fries if you were frying them?
Nah, man, that's hot. That's some hot fries right there.
Oh my. And then the Democrats obviously are jumping on board saying, this is all staged. Of course it's staged.
Because you don't want someone random rolling up, doing a drive-by. It's crazy. I will say this now.
Yes.
This is another L on Kamala, man. How do you lie? You really have to go so low and to say, damn, I worked at McDonald's. What you got on me there? I'm speechless for that, man. First, you fumble an interview with Joe Budden, and then this, or Charlamagne the Guy, my bad. Another rant. Man, L after L after L. LeBron James can't even have a comeback this big.
All right, there you go. Throw the mic down. Let's keep it on McDonald's. I don't know if this is good or bad, but McDonald's just had an E. coli outbreak. They just reported that 49 people have been getting sick from quarter pounders at McDonald's. And the CDC is really telling people, be careful. And Nebraska is one of the states where they're going to start pulling off some of those burgers. So just be aware of that as that story takes place. All right. If you want to listen to the podcast of this show, you can go to klin.com or your favorite podcast platform. Again, we want to thank Senator Fischer for joining us today and Governor Jim Pillen. And thanks to my producer, Wyatt, for throwing the mic down. There's only 82,200 seconds left until we see each other again, my friends. I want you to seize every one and have a great night.
From the Momo Pizzeria and Ristorante Studios, we are the voice of Lincoln.